Welcome to the Association post-game show. The Boston Celtics just took a 3-1 series lead over the Philadelphia 76ers in round one of the Eastern Conference playoffs. I'm your host, Alexis Morgan, here with veteran and OG writer Zach Harper. Zach, how are you doing on this wonderful Sunday afternoon and night if you're over here like me on the East Coast?
I'm doing better than the Philadelphia 76ers did today, but I'm doing great. We're really enjoying the playoffs so far. It's been a great week or so of games, and I'm ready for more.
Let's talk about this game four where the Celtics beat the 76ers 128-96. Let's take a look at some highlights right now. Zach, what did you see in this game? I mean, Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench with 32 points.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I mean, he really set a tone when he came into the game. It was a little sloppy on both sides. Not too sloppy for the Celtics, but you could see they're kind of feeling out like, all right, how are we going to attack a Sixers team that now has Embiid back? And then he came in, he was just like, I'm going to shoot the ball. Like, whatever you guys are going to do, I'm going to shoot the ball. And then they all followed suit. They, 24 three-pointers by the Celtics in this game. I mean, just a monster effort from them on the three-point line. They did a great job of keeping the Sixers away from the rim. Only 32 points in the paint for the Sixers. They destroyed the Sixers on the boards with a bunch of offensive rebounds. I think they were plus 21 rebounding the ball in general. And so just a complete total effort from them. Peyton Pritchard coming off and scoring 32 points. There is no real way to prepare for that. Yes, he's done this plenty of times before. He was the reigning Sixth Man of the Year until Keldon Johnson was named Sixth Man of the Year for this season. So we know Peyton Pritchard has this in him. We know he's going to hit the heaves at the end of quarters. He's the best in the league at that. But still, I don't think you expect 32 if you're the Sixers.
Right. And taking a look at the 76ers, you talked about Joel Embiid, 26 points, 10 rebounds. He's back after 2 weeks with that appendectomy surgery. What did you see from him tonight?
I mean, he looked pretty good. For a guy who hasn't played basketball in a couple of weeks, who really hasn't had a lot of time to ramp up to get into playoff form, right? This is not just a basketball game. You're getting into the playoff form. His numbers are great. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. You would take that in a vacuum. But I thought for the team, Joel looked great. For the team, they just seemed tentative. It looked a lot like trying to figure out, all right, how do we fit around this guy? Whereas, throughout the season, the Sixers had success because they had transferred ownership of this team on the court to Tyrese Maxey. It had been him, VJ Edgecombe, a lot of the perimeter players. And at that point, it was like, all right, Joel, you kind of fit in wherever you're going to fit in. We will use that, but we're not building this around you. Tonight, it felt like they were kind of trying to build this back around Joel to get him acclimated, and they got left in the dust in the process.
When we're looking at game two, I was surprised that Philadelphia stole one, right? Like, how can they take that energy from that game two, knowing that they're down 3-1? Everybody in the NBA knows the statistics of when a team is down 3-1, how they fare out in that series. So how can they kind of channel that same energy from game two and bring it into this game five?
I mean, I think there are two key components that did not happen today that definitely happened in game two. First is the three-point line. You cannot get destroyed at the three-point line that way and not try to get them back, with heavy three-pointers that are going on your own. In game two, they hit 19 threes. Now, granted, they only hit 4 in game one, so they've been on a bit of a roller coaster with the three-point shooting. But to stay with Boston, you have to hit about 17 to 22 threes in a game just to have that pressure on them, hopefully take away what they're doing at the three-point line. And then if you are going to, get into a bit of a rebounding battle, it can't be this one-sided. I mean, you bring Joel Embiid into the mix. Granted, Andre Drummond got hurt in this game, but he's a great rebounder. They've got good rebounding at the guard positions. Like, they have good rebounders all around. I don't know if this was an effort thing. I don't know if this was just a lucky bounce for Boston. To me, it kind of felt like an effort thing. Boston was just way more active on the boards. If you can control those two aspects of game five in Boston, you can take some of that energy out of the building. Although, as we heard tonight throughout this broadcast, a lot of Celtics fans in Philadelphia at that game. So I don't know if you're going to get a home court advantage coming back to Philly in game 6, but you at least got to take that energy out of the Celtics arena.
One person who's probably happy about that, Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla. So let's hear from him right now.
Questions for Joe? Start with Bobby.
Joe, playoff career high for Peyton. What can you say about his competitive character, knowing the career journey he's been through, and just seeing his two-way evolution?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the key is just, his two-way evolution. I mean, he's been on a journey since he's gotten in the NBA, he's started, he's, not started, has passed up, come off the bench, has had there. But throughout it, he's kept a level of professionalism, consistency, but like mental toughness. So, we're at our best when he's aggressive and he's bought into any role that's necessary to winning and just cares about competing, cares about the right stuff.
Joe, you guys kind of owned the boards there. They didn't get an offensive rebound until the third quarter. What did you see there, and how did that kind of impact you guys building the big lead?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's been a strength of ours. I credit the guys for buying into that. It's been a strength of ours getting extra possessions, but it's on both ends. I mean, they do a great job of rebounding, and so, we have to meet the challenge. And, we've met the challenge one game, and we got to meet it again 2 days from now. So, rebounding is a huge key because of our ability to get out and run, our ability to get extra possession. So we met it tonight. We got to meet it again.
Joe, yesterday I asked you about stopping momentum runs for the Sixers. It felt like the kind of inverse was true tonight. Like you guys rode a lot of big swing runs, like Peyton shot making, Jayson shot making late. Jalen went through a few stints where he was drawing a lot of fouls. Like, as a coach, what's the key to sort of like nursing those opportunities, like reading and seeing in real time, like, okay, this guy's got it going, letting it flow, and like, I guess playing off of what was a good road crowd too. Like, is there anything that goes into that?
No, it just comes down to controlling the game, having an understanding and awareness of what's going on. I mean, I thought we did a good job managing the game with even when we weren't making shots, our offensive rebounds, and we didn't turn it over. And, we were able to, rebound. And then obviously they're going to make a run. And so when they made their run, we were able to manage that with getting to the free throw line, being disciplined defensively and some good offensive execution. So you just got to manage the game, being disciplined. And I thought our guys did that tonight.
Joe, you mentioned the discipline defensively. You guys held them to 22 points or fewer in 3 of the 4 quarters. Just what did you see from them?
Yeah, I mean, I think they missed some shots. I think Embiid missed some shots that'll make. I think Maxey missed some shots that'll make. So we got to be tighter in there. But I thought we were just physical at the point of attack. And you have to be that against a team like this.
You mentioned Embiid. What did you think of your defense overall against him tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna be able to stop him. You just have to try to contain him. I thought he put us in some tough spots tonight with his ability to get to the free throw line. I thought we had some miscommunications on some 2-man actions with him out there. So it's just you have to be able to just contain him and defend him as a team. And he's so effective to the point where you just got to know what you're willing to live with, what you're willing to take away, and you got to be ready to do that.
Coach, your role mindset now for your team, up 3-1 and going back to Boston with a chance to close it out. What is your message to your players?
The same as been all series is just not having expectation. I mean, you can't control anything other than the stuff that impacts winning. And I think that's the most important thing is you can't have an expectation of it's supposed to go a certain way. Kind of talked about that with Gary before. And at the end of the day, we just have to play Celtics basketball and stick to the process of winning.
Joe, is there something you notice in a game like tonight where Peyton, has like 13 points in the first quarter? Obviously, he had it going. Is it a couple of clean looks early on? Is it an intentional effort on his end or his teammates' end? Like, what kind of contributes to the fact that he has had like quite a bit of these nights where he is just scoring a lot more than other nights?
No, I mean, I think he's just a guy that he finds the game. I mean, I think it's as soon as he comes in, he knows exactly what the game needs, whether it's defensively, whether it's offensive rebounding or just scoring. I thought our ability to defend and then get out and run got him some clean looks, and then I think has a level of understanding when he has it going that he's a difference maker for us and he's a stabilizer of our offense. So I think it's a combination of both. But I think he dictates the pace for us. He did a good job of that for himself and for others tonight.
Pretty much since the series began, like when your guys have been asked about Embiid, you kind of said we'll confront that if it happens. We're not thinking about it now. Obviously today he went doubtful, questionable, available. Just what has the preparation been like for the past few days, and kind of taking into account his possibility of returning, and then when you found out he was going to return, what changed?
We always just focus on the things that we can control within a game, and there's so many things that you can control, from a discipline, from a physical, from a mental, from a toughness standpoint, that it doesn't matter who's out there, and that just, we kept the main thing the main thing. It doesn't matter who's playing. Here's the things that we have to do, and you just keep it at that, and then you just allow the game to tell you what to do from there. But regardless of who we're playing against, we have to have an understanding of they're a really good team. They could beat you at any given night. They got great talent with the 3 stars that they have, and they're role players when they're at